Hi, my name's Tom Sokolowski. I'm a nutritional therapist and a functional medicine practitioner. In today's video, I'd like to talk to you about the dangers of overexercising and how this can cause excess inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and even stall weight loss. I will also speak about some of the benefits of exercise, how much exercise to do, and what kind of exercise to do. So part of the reason exercise benefits is because it creates some oxidative stress in the body, and your body responds by increasing antioxidant production. You could think of this as an example of hormesis, i.e. a small amount of poison, provided it's the right kind of poison, will actually strengthen the body. So the polyphenols like curcumin from turmeric or epigallocatechin gallate from green tea are examples of toxins that are designed to protect the plants. But as humans, we have developed the capacity to detoxify these compounds, and so when we have some green tea or some turmeric, it can actually boost both our detoxification pathways and our antioxidant production. And in this way, it's precisely because it's a poison that we benefit from it. So coming back to exercise, moderate exercise will increase antioxidant production, but if you exercise too much, your antioxidant defences will be overwhelmed and that will be counterproductive. Now we know from many studies the many health benefits of exercise, so it can increase muscle strength and endurance and thus reduce the risk of injury. Exercise can increase bone mineral density and reduce the risk of osteoporosis, as well as improving coordination so that falls and fractures become less likely. Exercise increases muscle mass, and increased muscle mass results in increased basal metabolic rate, which means you're burning more calories even when you're just at rest. Exercise is also the best way to increase growth hormone, which increases fat loss and increases muscle, so you burn more calories at rest once again. Exercise is also very helpful for blood sugar control and reducing insulin resistance, so it will reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes and obesity. Exercise increases the production of mitochondria. The mitochondria are organelles in your cells that generate ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is how your body stores energy for the processes of life. Exercise also improves heart health and reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Now, high intensity exercise has extra benefits because it increases human growth hormone more than lighter exercise. It's more helpful for weight loss and for heart health. It increases mitochondria more, and it can even halt the progression of Parkinson's disease. Now, if you engage in very gentle exercise like yoga and Tai Chi, that will bring your cortisol levels down. Now, if you engage in more moderate or vigorous exercise, however, this will increase your cortisol levels, and cortisol is your stress hormone. This will actually make you feel good because cortisol makes you feel alive. The exercise will also increase levels of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline, and this will add to the feel-good factor of exercise. And this is why exercise is so helpful if you have depression. It will lift your mood quite rapidly. Now, the problem is if you over-exercise, when the cortisol comes back down, because your body is not able to produce enough antioxidants to deal with the damage from the stress of the exercise, you're likely to feel more tired and more depressed, because also neurotransmitters will be depleted. Furthermore, your cells may have become resistant to the high levels of cortisol during exercise, and now when the cortisols come back down, you feel even more tired. Now, cortisol leads to weight gain of a particular type. It leads to the accumulation of fat around the middle and around the organs, and this kind of fat is known as visceral adipose tissue. Visceral adipose tissue generates its own bioactive chemicals, hormones, and inflammatory mediators, and is associated with metabolic syndrome, heart disease, and some cancers. The inflammation from the visceral adipose tissue and from the excessive exercise can also increase your accumulation of fat even further. So it's kind of a vicious circle. Now, cortisol also breaks down muscles, so you lose that metabolic advantage, and it can even break down bone because your body is trying to use the protein in the bone as an energy source to meet the high demands on your body. Now, cortisol is made from pregnenolone, and your sex hormones are also made from pregnenolone. So when you place great demands on cortisol by doing too much exercise, you're also placing great demands on pregnenolone, and your sex hormones can go out of balance. In these cases, your body is prioritising survival, i.e. cortisol, over reproduction, your sex hormones. And this is why excessive endurance exercise, prolonged endurance exercise, can lead to low testosterone and reduced male fertility and female infertility. So of particular concern is the female athlete triad of missed periods, osteoporosis and disordered eating that occurs in young women who do plenty of exercise and don't meet their caloric needs. Now, cortisol levels, when they're high, will also interfere with thyroid function. And thyroid function is also important for fertility, so doing too much exercise could, by impacting thyroid function, also prevent successful pregnancy. The impacted thyroid function can also weaken immune function and give you brain fog and slow your metabolism, so you'll feel tired and gain weight. You can also further reduce thyroid function and further increase cortisol levels by eating a very low carbohydrate diet. Now, a very low carbohydrate or ketogenic diet can be very beneficial for weight loss and for the health of your mitochondria, as long as you can ease yourself into it without upsetting your cortisol and thyroid balance. If you already have some kind of underlying hormonal imbalance, it's likely to be exacerbated by going on a ketogenic diet, especially when combined with too much exercise. Now, if you exercise moderately, that will benefit your gut flora. It will increase gut flora diversity, which benefits immune function, protects you from dysbiosis, and helps you to balance blood sugar more effectively. But excessive exercise will cause a leaky gut and the translocation of bacteria from your colon into the bloodstream, and this will further increase inflammation. Excessive endurance exercise may even be a cause of heart disease. So how much exercise should you be doing? Well, that may depend on many factors, such as your stress levels, how much you're sleeping, how well you're sleeping, your general diet, your fitness levels, your levels of inflammation and oxidative stress, levels of toxicity, and whether you have any underlying infections. So doing lab tests could be helpful to check cortisol and thyroid levels, but there's a great way you can measure your readiness to exercise on a daily basis using HRV, heart rate variability. And this will tell you if you're too stressed or too tired, or your body is still in a state of repair, so you shouldn't really be exercising, or if you're ready to exercise. I've written a little bit more about HRV with a few links in my post, from chronic fatigue to high intensity training, when to rest and when to be active. Now, general guidelines for exercise for the average person are 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, or 75 minutes of more vigorous aerobic activity. You can split the 150 minutes into 5 sessions of 30 minutes, or you can do it in less sessions. It doesn't really affect the beneficial effects. So if you follow these guidelines, your mortality risk decreases by 31%. But the peak benefit would be if you did 3 to 5 times this level of exercise. But the increase in benefit is modest, so the mortality risk with the higher exercise, with doing 3 to 5 times as much exercise, is 39% risk reduction of mortality. Whereas if you just do the 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise or 75 minutes of more vigorous exercise per week, that's 31% reduction in risk of mortality. So it's just an 8% difference for quite a few hours difference per week. So in a moment I'm going to describe another way that you can increase the benefits of your exercise without going over the 150 minutes per week mark. And this will give you more time for leisure, rest, recuperation, and for bringing down your cortisol levels. You need to remember that these guidelines come from studies that look at averages across populations. If you're out of balance, the 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise may be too much for you. If you have chronic fatigue, even getting out of bed might be too much for you at times. You can gain benefits from doing even less exercise, so the elderly may begin by doing 5 sessions of 15 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, and they can still reduce their mortality risk. In fact, even doing just 30 minutes a day of very light activity like household chores or gardening or slow walking can reduce mortality by 12%. Also beneficial and recommended is to do some weight training to increase the strength of all your major muscle groups twice a week. So to improve the benefits without increasing the time of your exercise, you want to incorporate some high intensity training. The high intensity training has more benefits in terms of increasing growth hormone, which counteracts the effects of the cortisol from the exercise. So cortisol tends to break down muscle and cause you to accumulate fat, whereas growth hormone helps you break down fat and build up muscle. So the high intensity training can be beneficial for weight loss, for heart health, for halting the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, and for increasing mitochondria and reducing mortality risk over and above the 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, over what that would give you. So the high intensity exercise should not be done too frequently or for too long. I recommend 1 to 3 sessions per week of 20 to 30 minutes only. You could do this as weights, or you could, even better probably, is to incorporate the high intensity training within your moderate aerobic activity workouts in the form of interval or burst training, which has been shown to be very beneficial. So in incorporating some high intensity training, you can increase the benefits without increasing the time that you're exercising, and this can leave more time for rest, recuperation, and for leisure activities that will bring the cortisol levels back down to healthy levels. Now, at the other extreme, even getting up and moving around every 20 minutes is beneficial for heart health. And in fact, if you remain seated for hours on end, this can actually negate the heart benefits of your exercise workouts. So if your work is sedentary, and if you're able to, get yourself a standing desk and alternate between sitting and standing every 20 minutes. You could even get yourself a treadmill desk. So finally, it's very important to balance the high cortisol levels from exercise with rest, recuperation, and leisure activities that bring down your stress hormones, like yoga, tai chi, meditation, gardening, going for a walk in nature, laughing, hugging, and listening to relaxing music or singing. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video.